This is the real reason elite talents vanish without a trace. Top coaches are hiding the one trait that separates legends from wasted potential. Stay until the final reveal to learn the uncomfortable truth about why players like Garnacho are refusing to evolve before it is too late. It is not always the absence of talent that derails a footballer's destiny. Sometimes it is a refusal to evolve, the stubborn grip on comfort rather than growth. Long before Alejandro Garnacho was warming Chelsea's bench with bags of unrealized potential, football had already seen the slow fading of Hector Bellerin, a name that once echoed to the Emirates Stadium of hope, only to dissolve into frustration and wasted speed. Bellerin came into Arsenal like a storm, lightning fast, fearless in overlaps, worshipped for his acceleration. Yet when the pace faded and the injuries crept in like silent thieves, he stood still in a game that demanded reinvention. While others like James Milner reshaped their careers across 5 positions and nearly 4 decades of football relevance, Hector Bellerin remained the same one-dimensional fullback, outrunning defenders but never outthinking them. His defending never matured. His decision-making stayed raw, and every foul throw he made became a metaphor for squandered promise. The crowd that once cheered his runs began to groan his reluctance to improve, his obsession with image over evolution, fashion over football. When the speed vanished, so did the illusion. Without adaptability, the beautiful game simply moved on without him. Yet perhaps more frustrating than Bellerin's decline is the story of Joao Felix, because his downfall was not forced upon him by injury or age, but chosen. At Benfica, Joao Felix was football poetry, the velvet first touch, the calm finish, the vision to thread impossible passes. He was compared to Kaká, crowned as Portugal's next golden boy, and Atletico Madrid threw over $100 million to secure him. But the moment he stepped into Diego Simeone's world, a world built on pressing, blood, discipline, and dirty work, Joao Felix recoiled. He did not morph or adapt. He resisted. Simeone wanted a modern forward, someone willing to sprint after the ball in the 92nd minute. Joao Felix wanted to glide, not grind. He would sprinkle flashes of brilliance, an elegant pass, a curling strike, but then disappear into shadows for the rest of the match. Coaches waited for responsibility to set in, but he instead leaned further into luxury. 1 game on, 5 games invisible. 1 game adored, 10 games ignored. At Chelsea, at Barcelona, the story repeated like a broken record. They saw the talent. They also saw the emptiness inside the effort. And so Europe stopped waiting for him. While Vinicius Jr. fought through criticism to become Real Madrid's dagger, and Bukayo Saka embraced hard work to turn raw potential into world-class end product, Joao Felix drifted to Saudi Arabia at 25, retirement in slow motion, not because his body betrayed him, but because his hunger did. It is this absence of hunger that makes Alejandro Garnacho's journey alarming, because his story is still being written, and yet already feels tragically familiar. When he exploded into Manchester United's first team, Garnacho was chaos incarnate, rapid, fearless, humiliating defenders with step-overs and ego. Fans saw echoes of a young Cristiano Ronaldo in his swagger. But illusion fades quickly, and what remained was a winger stuck in adolescence, trapped in belief that flair is enough. Instead of evolving, he repeated. Instead of growing, he recycled the same sequence. Run, cut inside. Defenders learned him like a predictable song. His decision-making crawled. He ignored open teammates, played from impossible angles, wasted possession in the name of personal highlight reels. His defensive work was worse. Manchester United's fullbacks were left abandoned on islands while he casually jogged back. Luke Shaw was breaking records to cover 2 men's jobs. Coaches begged for maturity. He scrolled through social media. Instead, arguments, drama from his brother, arrogance disguised as confidence. Everything pointed to a player intoxicated by potential but allergic to progress. And so when Chelsea signed him, expecting resurrection, nothing changed. He sat on the bench like a warning, an echo of every young talent who thought talent alone was a guarantee. Alejandro Garnacho has speed, aggression, and arrogance, the raw tools of a superstar, but no evolution. His footballing IQ remains dangerously low. He plays with the mind of a playground kid, not a professional. If he refuses to adapt, he will not just fade, he will vanish. The tragedy among all three is not failure, but refusal. Hector Bellerin had time to reinvent himself before the injuries. He did not. Joao Felix had the world's eyes, coaches, facilities, and platforms to mature. He chose comfort. Alejandro Garnacho still has time, yet time does not wait for anyone who keeps repeating yesterday's mistakes. Football has no sympathy for memories. It only rewards growth. And perhaps the most haunting part of this story lies not in their weaknesses, but in the rise of those around them. While Joao Felix wandered, Jamal Musiala sharpened every flaw and became Bayern's heartbeat, while Garnacho stuck to tricks. Bukayo Saka piled goals, assists and defensive sacrifices are Arsenal, carrying the club on his back without theatrics. While Bellerin coasted on speed, Trent Alexander-Arnold reinvented what a fullback could be, passing like a midfielder, orchestrating tackles like conductor. This is why fans feel betrayed, not because these players lacked ability, but because they had it and allowed it to rot. Talent is a gift, but becoming great is a choice. And greatness demands sacrifice. It demands running when your lungs burn, passing when you crave the spotlight, defending when no camera is watching. Joao Felix preferred being adored for moments rather than respected for consistency. Hector Bellerin preferred the elegance of fashion campaigns to the ugliness of defensive drills. Alejandro Garnacho prefers applause to accountability. But football does not care for pride. It punishes complacency. It forgets those who refuse to grow. And long after the noise fades, only two categories remain: those who evolve and those who remain the same until the game left them behind. But it is too easy to blame individuals and ignore the environment that masked their flaws. Hector Bellerin was adored early on because speed is intoxicating. The crowd doesn't cheer positioning. They cheer pace. They don't clap for quiet interceptions. They clap for blistering runs. So as long as he ran faster than most, nobody demanded he learn to defend smarter. Arsène Wenger gave him freedom. The fans gave him adoration, and Bellerin convinced himself that being fast was enough. Then the first injury struck. Then another. The speed fell from his legs like leaves in October. Suddenly, he was no longer untouchable. Suddenly, he could be caught. Suddenly, he had to think rather than sprint. That is where everything crumbled. He had never trained his mind like he trained his legs. He never transformed his weaknesses while he still had strength to hide them. And so the Premier League moved on, unforgiving, unromantic. Joao Felix's story is even more unsettling because his downfall is wrapped in elegance. He was the prince who refused to become a king, because kings bleed, struggle, and carry kingdoms on their backs. He preferred to stay in velvet robes while others wore armor. At Atletico Madrid, Diego Simeone's demands were not cruel. They were reality. Press, defend, run, sacrifice. But Joao Felix treated those fundamentals as beneath him. He wanted freedom without responsibility. He wanted flair without sweat. And so he became a tourist in every club he joined. Never part of the system, always a guest, never a pillar. Barcelona hoped the Camp Nou magic would wake him. Chelsea hoped chaos would spark him. Nothing did. Meanwhile, players once considered below his level took flight. Vinicius Jr. was booed, mocked, kicked, and still came back stronger. Bukayo Saka carried Arsenal through storms without theatrics. Jamal Musiala slipped into Bayern Munich's system with humility and became indispensable. Joao Felix remained a passing illusion. Then there's Alejandro Garnacho, who stands at a crossroads the other two have already passed. His story has not ended, but it has begun dangerously. Talent explodes, but discipline sustains. When he first broke through at Manchester United, his energy was electric. He ran at defenders like he had nothing to fear. But soon, the same pattern emerged. 3 years later, the tricks are the same. Defenders do not fear him. They study him. No evolution. Coaches see it. Fans feel it. He holds onto the ball too long, ignores simple passes, loses possession, and refuses to sprint back. His defensive work is a whisper in a hurricane. He leaves fullbacks exposed, and when questioned, he answers with ego instead of effort. And now at Chelsea, he is no longer the golden boy with freedom. He is a substitute. Another promise on pause. What makes these stories tragic is not failure, but pattern. Football has seen countless players blessed with brilliance, but cursed with comfort. Mario Balotelli, Ravel Morrison, Adele Tarabt, names from another generation that echo the same warning. Talent is not rare. Discipline is. Evolution is. And football rewards only those who adapt. The game does not pause for anyone's potential. It only rewards evidence. Yet, somewhere between disappointment and disbelief lies a question. Can it be reversed? Can a player like Alejandro Garnacho still turn the tide? Yes, but only if he abandons the illusion that he has time. Joao Felix thought he had time. Hector Bellerin believed pace would return. Time is the most deceptive teammate. Friendly at first, then brutally honest. Football does not age with kindness. Careers vanish like breath on a cold night. It is strange how the sport can be so poetic, yet so ruthless. A moment of brilliance can make you unforgettable. A season of complacency can make you disposable. The same fans who scream your name will whisper your downfall when you refuse to grow. And perhaps this is how legends are truly forged, not in the gift, but in the sacrifice that comes after the gift is given. Alejandro Garnacho can still choose humility over TikTok applause, training ground over social media drama, teamwork over tunnel vision. Joao Felix could still rebuild, but only if he is willing to sweat more than he smiles. Hector Bellerin may never regain what he lost physically, but he could become a symbol of reinvention if he ever decides football is worth more than fashion. But every day spent undecided is a day lost forever, and football never waits. Because while some players waste potential, others weaponize it. Jude Bellingham left England as a teenager, walked into Borussia Dortmund's midfield, and became a leader among men twice his age. Erling Haaland took criticism, used it like fuel, and now feared by defenses globally. Luka Modric, once mocked in his debut season at Real Madrid, became the definition of evolution. Small in stature, excellent in impact. They did not rely on talent. They devoured it, sharpened it, outworked it. This is what separates legends from memories. Memories fade. Legends evolve. So when people say Alejandro Garnacho refuses to get better, or Joao Felix wasted his gift, or Hector Bellerin fell in love with everything but football, not all of it is hate. Some of it is heartbreak. Because once, these players made the world believe. Once, their names were spoken with hope. Now, their names live in cautionary tales. In the end, football is a mirror. It reflects effort more than flair, persistence more than promise. It does not care how good you were at 19. It cares how much better you become at 25. Potential is a debt you owe to yourself. And the game always collects. There will come a day when the noise stops, when the spotlight shifts, when the cheers fade to silence. On that day, only one question will matter. Did you grow or did you stay the same? For Alejandro Garnacho, for Joao Felix, for Hector Bellerin, the answer is still being written. But the clock is ticking, faster than any of them can run. Tell me which player you think wasted the most potential. Explain why Garnacho is still repeating the same mistakes. Let me know which current star is next on this path. Share your thoughts in the comments and follow for more hard truths the football world tries to ignore.